Hi, I'm Florian Kohler, professional pool trick shot artist, and today I want to talk about pattern play. In all our previous pool dog lessons, we talked a lot about mathematical system, like very systematic aiming and how shot making on the balls, but this lesson is a little bit different. It's a little more general, and it's on a topic, in my opinion, that does not get as much attention, simply because most people like to find a perfect system, the miracle recipe. But really, pool is all about running out and finding statistically the best way to run out. So we're gonna cover the mental aspects, the strategy of it, and how you're gonna favor one side of the ball rather than another side, and make your life easier by minimizing the risk and improving your chances to run out. This first segment is all about zone play. So we have a standard 9-ball layout here, so let's pretend my opponent break, scratch on the break, I got ball in hand. Okay, quickly you gotta identify which balls are easy to make and in order, right? So we look at the one ball, obviously first ball to make. It looks pretty okay. Looks most likely like it's gonna go in this corner out there. Could go out there, but a little tougher to get positioned there, so this seems like the best option. The 2-ball goes in the corner there. Pretty much that's the only spot that goes. 3-ball goes in the corner there, same thing. I mean, those are pretty obvious choices, okay? So now I got ball in hand. So the idea is to figure out where I could land this cue ball to make it as easy as possible for me to run those balls. Okay, so I'm gonna drop this for a second here. The easiest shot would be probably to set the cue ball somewhere there, make the one in the corner, have our cue ball go somewhere there, make the 2-ball. However, if I look at the 2-ball, I'm gonna look at the zone here. I got from the center of my 2 here to the edge of the 8, and there from the center of my 2 here to the edge of the 9. As you can see, it makes sort of a triangle. That's what we call a pie-shaped diagram, basically. And if I look at it, most I have is basically a diamond width, which is not much to work with. So if I were to make that shot and sort of play bad speed, I could get behind the 8. If I play a little more too much left spin, I would get behind the 9. A lot of bad things can happen here. However, if I go from this zone now, I'm gonna look the 2 to the edge of the 5, and then the 2 to the rest of the table. You can see obviously this pie-shaped diagram is much bigger than this one, so we can superpose them. It would be a big difference. So I probably have double chances to land in the correct zone here, rather than if I was to try to land in there. So again, the shot might be more difficult because I have to put my cue ball somewhere there. However, the layout is so much easier this way that it's an obvious choice. I have to go for the 2 in this zone. So I'm gonna show you now. I'm just gonna shoot the 1. 1 or 2 rail out there, get position for the 2. There we go. So as you can see, I have no risk. I was never in danger. Now I'm on the 2-ball. Okay, so same thing for the 2 to 3. The 2 goes in the corner. Now I have 2 chances on the 3-ball. So the 3-ball, it seems like a very easy shot from there, probably one that you can't miss, but you have to be exactly in this zone, which is again, maybe a diamond wide, not too much, and it's not quite the easy way to get there. However, if I look from here, edge of my 3-ball to the edge of the 9, and I can go up to here because cutting that ball is not that difficult. So I almost have double the space here in this zone compared to this zone. So really what I gotta do here is play a little stop draw, something like that, get somewhere here. It doesn't have to be very precise. I know I'm gonna be in the zone to make the 3-ball. And then you basically continue until the 4-ball, the 5, and all over until you make the 9-ball. Following zone play is the angle of approach. In my opinion, it's still part of zone play, but it's really its own important thing. So we have set up here a standard 8-ball situation. So we're on the stripes, so I'm gonna have to make the 12 in the middles there, play position for the 8 to win the game. Okay, so first we're gonna define what's our zone, what's our pie-shaped diagram. So if I try to aim to make the 8 in the corner, I can probably make it from here pretty easily up to, I'll say about there, okay? So it's quite a big zone. Now, again, before I go any further, your pie diagram, your zone play is gonna also depend on your ability to putt balls. That means if you're really good, to putt cut shots, if you're really good to putt long shots, this might make your zone bigger. And also the reverse thing, if you're not too comfortable with long shot and cut shot, your zone might be a little smaller, but that's, gonna be up to you. There's sort of a general area that, it's common sense to just go in. Now that being said, we're gonna see how do we get there from the 12 ball. Okay, so our 12 ball is an easy shot. So we could, approach this shot very different way. I could hit the cue ball into the 12, try a draw shot, and try landing the zone into the 8 ball. Now here's the problem is, if you come across the zone rather than into our zone, you're gonna expose yourself to trouble. Reason is because if we go from here to there, basically you can see the cue ball, you're gonna have to draw that cue ball into the 12, into that little zone. A lot of things can happen here. You can either overshoot it, pass it, you can undershoot it, be right there, have an impressive cut shot that you might miss, or basically this is exactly where you're gonna have some trouble. So let's say you play follow, hit the 12 in the side, 12 goes there, cue ball goes here, you're gonna probably end up a little bit in the bigger triangle, but again, you're coming across the zone rather than into the zone. So same thing, if you hit it too hard, you might stay out, if you hit it too short, you might stay here. On top of that, you're a little further, so it really doesn't seem like the right choice. Now, the proper choice in this situation is to hit the 12, go long rail, short rail, optionally the 3 rail here, long rail again, and really all the time, just to go into the same triangle here. Now the thing is, you're into that entire zone, you're always in the zone. That means as soon as you hit that first rail, by the time you hit the second rail, you're stepping into the zone. That means from the second to the third, you have about 4 diamonds to go there and you're still in the zone, meaning you're very safe. So I'm just gonna shoot that here, show you how to basically have the perfect position on the 8 ball. Right there, as you can see, from the second rail, I was in the zone, from the third rail, I was in the zone, and even though I shot it a little too slow in my opinion, here would have been better, I am still okay, and I have no problem making that 8 ball. Second example in our angle of approach segments, typical 9 ball situation. Obviously I'm on the 8 ball, I gotta play position for the 9 to make it in the corner there. So, again, we're gonna find our zone. To this corner here, it seems like the right zone, okay? Now again, always pick the bigger zone. Some people would try to go here. This is bad, okay? This is too risky. You have a much bigger chance to go out there. And again, with several ways to get there, you could go try, 2 rails, try to go across. This is sort of dangerous because you're coming across it. However, the good solution is to go 3 rail. So put the 8 in the corner, go short, long, land on the long, and continue to just really, stay into the big side of the zone to really improve your chances to have a good position on the 9 ball. So instead of just playing it, kind of normally and carelessly, we're gonna focus on really go closer to the corner out there. A little bit of spin helps you stay in the zone, and you're good to go for the 9 ball. There you go. So as you can see, I shot it a little too hard still, but look at that, because I came into that zone, I went all the way, my ball was still going, and I still had the big zone out there. However, if I came 2 rails, I would have been there, and I would probably be now dead by now, or left was a very difficult shot. Meanwhile here, I sort of have a hanger. A quick tip in the 10 ball situation now. So we're on the 7 obviously, and if you play good position, we can either make the 10 ball in this corner or in this corner. Okay, so the logic thing would be, to either play a little small follow, try to play that 10 ball in this corner, or you play a little draw, play the 10 ball in this corner. However, you can see it's a very sensitive shot. That means if you play a little too far, you're gonna be out of shape and you're probably left with a pretty difficult shot. And again, the reason is because if you look at the zone, the pipe shape diagram, your pipe shape would be something like this, and you're literally trying to stay in that little entering corner. So rather than, again, staying into the small zone, you're gonna try to go into the bigger zone. In this case, all we have to do is just go into the bigger zone, somewhere out there, and the shot is gonna be easier even though you have more distance. So never hesitate to go away from the object ball, even though, you know, it seems crazier, it seems harder. This is just the better choice. As you can see, I went away from it, but look at my angle. Now it is much better, and I could have landed here, would have still worked. Now I have a clear shot to the 10 ball in the corner out there. Easy, end of the game. Next part here is about landing on the proper side of the object ball. So again, this is part of position play because you always have to look ahead and look in which way you want to favor the odds to get the better chance to run out. So here we have a typical 9-ball layout. I'm gonna illustrate this, and my cue ball is right there to the 2-ball. So obviously the 2-ball is gonna go in this corner, the 3 in this middle, and then I'm gonna have to play position down there to make the 4-ball there. Okay, so most people, at least the beginner, would just play a simple stop shot to make the 2, and then basically make the 3. The problem is, once you're there, you really can't do much, because if I play my stop shot there, I'm gonna have either difficult shot on the 4, or might be jacked up on the 6, or might be here. It's all very difficult. Now, what would work really well is if instead you just shot the cue ball into the 2, make the 2 the same pockets, but instead just moved it up this way, which would secondary make in sort that you make the 3 in there, and the cue ball to simply follow in this zone. So really, you're really not making that much more of an effort, but you're actually landing in the correct zone and the bigger percentage of chance. So really, if you look at your line here in the 3-ball, you're basically gonna have a good side and a bad side. So although if you take the pie diagrams, which would still work, meaning you could make the 3, it really is not the same, because all this side becomes bad side or the wrong side. And that's what people say when, you know, I landed funny, I landed on the wrong side of the ball. This is exactly what it is. This is all the good side, and this would be the bad side. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna shoot that for you so we can illustrate the example. So as you can see, I really had a huge margin. Could have went here, would have worked. Could have went there, would have worked. Let's just finish the 3 there and call it good. We're now going to cover a little bit of the mental and strategic aspect of pool, at least, you know, in all the games that we've covered, 8, 9, and 10 balls. So let's say you're playing 8 ball. You're going to have a lot more balls on the table, so that means usually a lot of clusters and a lot of problem to open. So if you're playing 8 ball, I like to always use what we call an insurance ball, meaning it's a ball that you're always going to have and try to help you out in case you try to open the cluster and something goes bad, or in case you miss the opening the cluster and something goes bad anyway. You still have that ball to just put you out and give you another chance. Now, same in 9 ball, you know, not every time the layout's going to be wide open and you can just run it out. So you're going to have to find a way to open your problem. In 9 ball especially, you have to open your problems early as possible, because if you wait too long, it might get in trouble and you might be, you know, running out of options, and usually that's how you lose the game. So this is pretty much available in every game you're playing. Meanwhile, insurance ball is more for 8 ball. The next thing I want to talk about is the player you're playing, because you're not only playing the table. That's sort of a legend that's going in pool. You're actually playing the player as well. Let's say you're playing a run-out player. So all those guys at top level, they're pretty much all run-out player. But, you know, for mere mortals, you know, it's a little bit different. So if you're playing a run-out player, you know that if you're trying to open that trouble ball early, you might get in trouble, because if you miss and you leave it wide open, well, that guy's just gonna run out on you. So maybe it's better for you to simply make the ball, play a safety, and kind of just wait it out and see if you can win the safety battle. Now, the reverse thing goes as well, because if you're playing more what we call a grinder, somebody that just makes 1-2 ball and then doesn't like it, just kind of leave a safety, and you know is a strong safety player, well, you might do the reverse thing. You might try to open your problem right away, leave the table wide open, and hope it's just not gonna run out. So never underestimate that aspect of the game. Always look to open your problem early. If you have insurance ball, take it, and then analyze the player you're playing as much as the table. I just broke a rack of 8 ball. I made the 13 ball and left my cue ball somewhere pretty good in the middle. and this is what I'm left with. So we're gonna kind of work backward. Now again, remember, backward working only works in 8-ball, not in 9-ball, because 9-ball obviously you gotta follow the numbers, so you don't really have much of a choice. In this case, we have a choice in the order in which ball to select. Step 1 is basically selecting the right category of balls. I'm looking right there. I see a bunch of solids here all together in a bad spot, so this is definitely a no-go. This is something you wanna avoid if you can. Looking more further in the solids, those twos are also kind of funny what they are. I don't like them. So now we know we're gonna select the stripe balls. Okay, so if we keep going, number 2 is to find out which ones are our key balls. Okay, so our key balls to get to the 8-ball would be the 10 and the 9-ball. They're literally on the same line here, so either one of them would work because I could make the 8 in this corner or the 8 in this corner. That's done, now we gotta figure out the way to run this out. So again, usually what you try to avoid is go back and forth. This is pretty bad. So you kind of divide the table in 2 halves, try to work in 1 half of the table, then go down into the second half. Kind of makes your work a lot easier. So in this case, I pretty much figured my solution. All I gotta do is run them out, and I'm gonna start with the 14, then follow with the 12, and keep going from there. Okay everyone, this is pretty much it for pattern play. I know there was a lot of information and some stuff seems a little vague, but really it's more of a feel thing. It's something you have to practice, it's something you have to visualize, and since everybody's a little different, you know, there's always so much you can talk about it. But again, never underestimate the tactical aspect of the game. It's what makes you a winner in some situation. As usual, please comment below any question. We'll try to answer the best we can. And for all your pool and billiard supplies, please go check out pooldog.com. Link is in the description. See you guys.